Hello and welcome to today's science lesson. So first of all guys, can we all turn to wave and say a big hello to our friends on camera. Hello. And we'll begin by doing our meditation sequence. So I will sit down, take 2 fingers, find our heart center, left hand on our laps and close our eyes. And when you're ready guys, you can open your eyes and come back to the room. Excellent. And next we can do our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. And we can begin by stretching up high to the sky. High as we can. Then let's go down low. Touch your toes. Back up high one more time. And this time, can we go tippy toe high? And while we're there, let's have a wave side to side. And back down to touch your toes once more. Excellent guys, now stand up and have a shake. Arms and legs, shake it out. Shake it out, arms and legs. And then hands on hips. We can have a wiggle side to side. Stop. Another wiggle side to side. Stop. Forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, and stop. And then we can go round and round, round and round. Give our spines a nice stretch. Round and round. Then back the other way. Round and round the other way. Excellent guys. And then let's have another stretch. Shake it out, arms and legs. And to finish, we will do 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent guys, have a seat. So welcome to today's science lesson, where we're going to continue learning about something we began learning about in the previous lesson. The moon, yes. We've already learned about planet Earth, the sun, and now we're learning about the moon. So let's write that phrase on the board first. The moon is T-H-E-M-O-O-N. Excellent, guys. So when do we see the moon? Do we see the moon during daytime or nighttime? Nighttime. Nighttime, yes. Daytime is the sun. Like now, it's daytime, so the sun is out in the sky. But later, in the evening and nighttime, the sun will drop, sunset, and then the moon will rise. So who can remember some different facts about the moon, guys? No light. Brilliant. Well remembered. We can see the moon in the night sky, but the thing about the moon is it does not emit any light by itself. The light that comes and shines on the moon comes from the sun. If the sun wasn't there, we wouldn't be able to see the moon. But it's the sunlight that reflects on the moon so that we can see it. So excellent start, well done. No light comes from the moon. Now who can remember some other facts that we learned? Yes, the moon is smaller than Earth. The moon is about between 1/10 and 1/15 the size of the Earth. And when we look in the sky, we can see it. So the moon is definitely smaller than Earth. Smaller. And then who can remember, how do we spell planet Earth? E-A-R-T-H. Yes. If by coincidence the sun and the moon are in the sky at the same time, they both look about the same size. But which do you think is bigger really, the sun or the moon? The sun. The reason they look the same is because the sun is a lot further away. The sun is millions of kilometers away. If the sun was as close to us as the moon was, the sun would be huge. But because it's further away, the sun and the moon appear about the same size. Now, what does the moon do to the Earth? Can anybody remember? Does the Earth move around the moon, or does the moon move around the Earth? Brilliant, guys. Well remembered. Remember the words we use for objects that move around. Orbit. Okay, so we can also say orbits Earth. And what we mean by orbits Earth is that the moon is Earth's only natural satellite. Yes, a satellite is something that moves around another object. Like there's lots of man-made ones. In the sky, you'll see lots of machines. When you watch television or talk on your telephone, that's possible because all of the electronic signals are being sent by satellites, but they're man-made ones. The only natural satellite that the Earth has is the moon. Okay? Now, gravity. Yes, I was about to say, what about the oceans and the tides? Gravity. Well done, Dan. Gravity, V-I-T-Y. Now, what does gravity do to the tides of the oceans and the sea? It controls them, moves them in and moves them out. Something called gravity is the gravitational pull. As the moon rotates further away from Earth, the tides will move out. But then, later in the day, when the Earth rotates closer to the moon, the tides move back in. So when next time you're at the seaside and you see the water moving in and moving out, you can tell your families or your friends that's because the moon is rotating around the Earth. Now, in today's lesson, we're going to learn about the phases of the moon. Every time you see the moon, is it the same size? Does it always look the same shape? No. Sometimes the moon will be like this in the sky, a complete circle, and that's what we call the full moon. But sometimes we will only be able to see this portion here, half moon, and even smaller, sometimes we can only see things like this. The moon always stays the same shape, but because the sun and the sunlight reflects on the moon, it affects how we see it. We've got full moon, half moon, crescent moon. Now these are what's known as the phases of the moon. There's more than these. These are just being used as an example. And what we're going to do in today's lesson is we're going to learn about the lunar calendar and how the different phases of the moon affect the dates and the ways in which the lunar calendar operates. But guys, that was brilliant. Very well remembered. So let's take a look at today's PowerPoint presentation, the moon, lesson 2. Yes, and what we're going to explore today, guys, are the different phases of the moon. Now you can see here in the picture that there are lots of different moons. And if you look at each one, the light from the sun is reflecting differently. So the moon appears bigger. These are what we mean by the different phases, when the shape of the moon, caused by the sunlight from the sun, appears. When we look at the moon, it does not always look the same every night. Yes, sometimes it appears full, like a complete circle. That's the full moon. But then at other times throughout the month, it will get smaller until we can't see it at all. These are what we mean by the different phases. And you can see here there are 8 different phases by the 8 different moons. The moon is a sphere. What we see are the different phases of the moon. Yes, and sphere is another word for circle. Like the Earth is a sphere, or the Earth is a circle. Most planets are round, so we call them spheres. The whole cycle starts with the new moon. Here, the moon is invisible in the night sky. Can you see the moon in the picture? Little bit. You can. It's almost invisible. Some people can see it, some people can't. It's very little. Here, you can just about see the sunlight reflecting on the smallest portion of it. So when the moon is invisible, that's the new moon. That's the start of the next lunar calendar. And then what we'll see, it'll gradually appear to get bigger. As the moon moves, the new crescent moon becomes visible in the night sky. So you can see it's starting to get a little bigger. And this shape here is known as a crescent. That's why it's called the new crescent moon. As the moon continues to move, the new half moon looks like a semicircle. Yes. How much of the moon can we see now, roughly? Yes, about half of the moon. That's why it's called the new half moon, because it's getting bigger. It's gone from virtually nothing to crescent and then half. And the next stage will be larger than half. The new gibbous moon shows that over half of the moon is illuminated by the sun. Yes, you see here, it's more than half now, but it's not completely full. It's not a full moon yet. It's in between the half moon and the full moon. And this is known as the new gibbous moon. But then, can we see all the moon now? Yes. The full moon is when the entire moon is visible in the night sky. And in Thailand, this is a special day. This is the Buddhist day. Every time there is a full moon in the sky, it's a special Buddhist day. How many times a month do you think a new full moon happens? About once a month, yes. One time per month, you'll get a full moon. But then what happens after the full moon? After we've seen the moon get bigger, it gets full, and then it slowly starts to appear smaller again. But not the new moon, now it's called the old moon. For example, the old gibbous moon occurs when the moon starts to look smaller in the sky. Yes. Slowly, we can only see half of the moon. Again, the old half moon this time. So remember when it was getting bigger, it was the new half moon. After we've had the full moon and it starts getting smaller, not the new, it's now the old half moon. Okay? So when it's getting bigger, it's the new moon. After full moon and going smaller, the old moon. The last phase is the old crescent moon, when we can only see a small part of the moon. Yes. Remember, the new crescent moon was this shape, but over this side. And what we've seen is the moon in its phases get bigger until it's a full moon, and then gradually smaller again, till it's the old moon. The whole process takes about 29.5 days and is called the lunar cycle. Yes, some countries have their calendar based upon the lunar cycle. For example, China. The Chinese calendar is based on the lunar cycle. So they have all of their dates arranged around the phases of the moon. And sometimes, whenever you look at the moon, do you ever think you can see an animal on the moon? What animal?
Rabbit.
Yes. You see here, you see these spots on the moon. When we look at it from Earth, some people think that these spots and shapes on the moon make a rabbit. So tonight, or the next full moon is the best time, when you look in the sky, see if you can make out the shape of a rabbit on the moon, because lots of people think so. Any questions, guys?
No.
That was brilliant. Well done. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the PowerPoint presentation so that they can learn about the different phases of the moon, from a new moon all the way through to the old crescent moon. And there are 8 different phases. And coming up, we've got a flashcards exercise for our students to put the different phases in order and also write the names correctly of each phase. But before then, guys, time for our stretch sequence. So let's stand up and push in our chairs. For this sequence, we'll begin with some rotations. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Excellent, guys. And now we can do 5 stretches to our right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent, guys. And now we can do 5 stretches to our left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brilliant. Now have a shake. Arms and legs, shake it out. And next we can take our right hand and find our left foot. Left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand, right foot. And one more time, guys. Stand up and arms and legs, shake it out. Excellent. And to finish, we can do 5 claps or 5-star jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-star jumps it is. So what we've got now is a flashcards exercise for our students together to put the different phases of the moon as a display on our whiteboard and also write the names of each phase correctly. So, teachers, what you'll need to do for this lesson is print off each of the flashcards and make sure you have them in order from the new moon all the way through to the old crescent moon, because we'll be giving them to each student in order to place next to each other and write the names correctly. Okay, guys? So we've got 8 students ready to show the 8 different phases of the moon. So let's see who the first student can be. Let's see, who shall we begin with? I know, Lakgao. Come and join me at the front of class. Okay, so Lakgao gets first job. Can you show your flashcard? Now, here is the phase of the moon when we can barely see it. The moon is invisible in the night sky. The new moon, exactly. This is what we call the new moon of the new lunar cycle. So, Lakgao, can you place the new moon in this corner here, please? Excellent. Okay, and then Lakgao can write new moon underneath. Excellent. Brilliant. Okay, so Lakgao has correctly placed and written the first phase. All together, guys, phase 1, new moon. When we can barely see it in the night sky. Lakgao, that was brilliant. High five and a big round of applause for Lakgao, please, guys. So teachers, you can see the activity we're doing in our classroom now. You can do the same activity with your own students. So pause the video and remember, each flashcard has to be given in order from new moon right the way through to the final phase, the old crescent moon. So choose a different student each time, and then when they've correctly placed and labelled the phase, have everybody practice speaking together. And we're going to carry on now here. Let's see if Prel can remember. Prel, here's your flashcard. So come and show it to your friends first. So what can we see now, guys? New crescent moon. Yes, you see this shape here? This shape is known as a crescent. And after the new moon, we have the new crescent moon. So Prel, phase number 2, can you place it next to the new moon? Brilliant. And now Prel will demonstrate how to write new crescent moon. So we've got new, C-R-E-S-C-E-N-T. C-E-N-T. Perfect. And then moon. Yes, so you see it's only one extra word in the middle of new moon. We have new crescent moon. Because this shape here is a crescent. Prel, that was brilliant. High five and a big round of applause for Prel, please, guys. So that's 2 phases of the moon so far, another 6 to go. We've got new moon and new crescent moon. But what comes next? Let's see if we can remember. Or more importantly, let's see if Down can remember. Down. Come and join me at the front of class, please. And show the flashcard to your friends. So now, guys, who can remember? After new crescent moon, we have... Brilliant. New half moon, because how much of the moon can we see? Half. So that's why it's called the new half moon. So Dan, can you place the picture next to the new crescent moon? Excellent. And then Dan can write the vocabulary new again, N-E-W, but this time half moon. Half is H-A-L-F, half moon. You can see each picture, the moon is appearing to get bigger as the sunlight reflects on it. Down, that's brilliant, well written. So we can say together, guys, new half moon. Down, very well written and well spoken. Big round of applause for Down, please, guys. Okay, so the moon's starting to get quite big now. We can see half of it already. But what comes between half and full? Let's see which student can demonstrate the next phase of the moon after new half moon. Hugh, come and join me at the front, please. So what we've got now, guys, is the new gibbous moon. This is the stage when it's more than half, but less than full. New gibbous moon. So Hugh, can you place it on the board? And then write the word correctly. So once again, we've got new, N-E-W, but this time, gibbous. Gibbous is spelled G-I-B-B-O-U-S. And then to finish, we've got the moon again, M-O-O-N. Each phase of the moon ends with the word moon. True? That's brilliant. So we can all say together, guys, new gibbous moon. And each time you can see the size of the moon appearing to get bigger as the sunlight reflects on it more. Chew, that was excellent. High five and a big round of applause for Chew, please, guys. So far, we've gone from virtually no moon at all, the new moon, to it getting bigger each time. And now, we've got the moon at its biggest in the sky. So the next phase, let's see who can demonstrate this for us. Nadia, come and join me at the front of class, please. Now, who can tell me what phase of the moon this is on Nadia's flashcard? Yes. What can you see? A complete circle or a complete sphere? This is the whole of the moon, so we call it full moon. So Nadia, you can place it on the board, and this time no new. Because it's full, we just call it the full moon. F-U-L-L. And then once again, always moon at the end. M-O-O-N. Perfect, Nadia. So we can say together, full moon. Yes, we've gone from new moon all the way through to full moon in 5 stages. Nadia, that was brilliant. High five and a big round of applause for Nadia, please, guys. Okay, but now, after the full moon, the moon appears to start getting smaller. So let's see what the next phase is. And the next phase can go to Pat. So Pat, come and join me at the front, please. So how about this one, guys? And be careful, after the full moon, it's no longer new, it's old gibbous moon. So you can see where Chew did before the full moon, new gibbous moon. The next phase becomes the old gibbous moon. So Pat, you can demonstrate the old gibbous moon. Old is O-L-D. And then gibbous, G-I-B-B-O-U-S. And then back to moon. Excellent. Well done, Pat. So we can say together, guys, old gibbous moon. Because here you notice the new gibbous moon, it's this part of the moon we can't see. But now the moon is getting smaller the other way. Now it's the old gibbous moon, this part that we can't see. And Pat, that was brilliant. High five. Big round of applause for Pat, please, guys. Two more phases to go. So let's see who's next. After the old gibbous moon, maybe Pak Bung can tell us what comes after old gibbous moon. Pak Bung, come and join me at the front of class, please. So what can you see now? How much of the moon? Half moon, yes, but remember, we've already had new half moon where we couldn't see this part. What do we call this one? Not new, old half moon. Yes, notice how now we can see this part that we couldn't see before, but we can't see the part that we've seen before because the sun has rotated. So Pak Bung, you can place this onto the board and it's the old half moon. So old, O-L-D. Half, H-A-L-F. And moon, M-O-O-N. Brilliant. So we can say together, old half moon. Yes, and Pak Bung, that was brilliant. High five and a big round of applause for Pak Bung, please, guys. Okay, we're nearly finished, guys. We've nearly done our lunar cycle. It usually takes 29.5 days, but our lunar cycle has took 10 minutes. Let's see who can do the final phase. Net, over to you. Come and complete our lunar cycle for us, Net. Stand here for me. So who can remember what phase of the moon this is, the last phase? Who can remember the name of this shape?
Old crescent moon.
Excellent. You see, we've got a crescent again. But before, when we had the new crescent moon, the final phase is the old crescent moon. So Pat, is the Net, is there just enough space? Okay, now let's see if you can write here, old crescent moon. O-L-D. And crescent is spelled C-R-E-S-C-E-N-T. Excellent, Net. And then underneath, you can just write moon. M-O-O-N. Brilliant. So the final phase of the moon is old crescent moon. And then what happens after this phase? What comes next? Goes back to the start, to the new moon. And then the lunar cycle completes again. But Net, that was brilliant. High five. Big round of applause for Net, please, guys. So my students have brilliantly completed their own lunar cycle with the phases of the moon. So let's say them together one more time, guys. New moon, new crescent moon, new half moon, new gibbous moon, full moon, old gibbous moon, old half moon, and old crescent moon. These are what are called phases of the moon. Guys, that was brilliant. Very well done. And now it's time for our worksheet activity. So teachers, make sure each student in your classroom gets their own worksheet. And what we want them to do today is, using the diagram on their worksheet, is complete the different phases of the moon. Just like we've done together with our flashcards exercise, there are 8 different phases. So we want our students with their pencils to colour in the moon and label the phase depending on how it looks like. So the first phase, guys, will be new moon, when we can hardly see it, and then all the way through to old crescent moon. And if our students want to also, we have the diagram of the Earth. They can colour that in too. But what's the first thing to do, guys? Names on top. and give our students around 12 minutes for this activity and help them with anything they need. And if they need to, they have the pictures and the vocabulary on the board already. So Ned, this one's for you. You're welcome. Pat, you're welcome. Nadia, for you. You're welcome. Chu,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Down, here's yours. You're welcome. Plow, for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Lakau, for you. You're welcome.
Thank you,
And
teacher.
you're welcome. So names on top first, guys, and then there's 8 different moons for the 8 different phases. So the one directly above the Earth will be phase 1, new moon, where you can colour the moon in almost completely because we can't see it. And then you can move through the different phases, label and shade the moon correctly. Yes, number 1, that's correct, bang one. So number 1 is new moon. And you'll have to colour almost all of it in because we can barely see the new moon. And then the next one, yes, and then the next one will be new crescent moon. So you can do the shape of the crescent. But you see how on the new crescent moon, the crescent is on the right. On the old crescent moon, the crescent is on the left. So take notice of the different phases. This is a crescent. That's why it's called crescent moon, because it looks like that shape. A little bit like a banana. Like a banana shape. Excellent. So the new moon, what we'll have to do, Net, can I borrow your pencil? The new moon, we can hardly see. So all of the new moon is shaded. But then the new crescent moon, you see, on the new crescent moon you can start to see some of the moon. And then the next one, the new half moon. Excellent, guys. You can label the phases first, and then you can do your colouring and shading later. So well done, Nadia. We've got new moon, new crescent moon, new half moon, and then new gibbous moon. And we reach full moon. Excellent, Hugh. Yep, that's the new moon. So on the new moon, with your pencil, you can shade in all of it because the new moon we can't see. The new moon is completely dark. Then the next one, the new crescent moon, you can start to see some of it. So we just shade that in. You see, that's the crescent moon, just like the pictures on the board. And then the next one, shade half, because it's the new half moon. Excellent, Prao. So now, after the full moon, it's the old gibbous moon. And then the old half moon. Before full moon, new. After full moon, old. Brilliant, Lackow. Yep. So for the new moon, shade in everything. Because the new moon is almost completely shaded. Maybe you can see about 1%. And then the new crescent moon, maybe 10, 15%. New half moon, 50%. 80% for the new gibbous, 100% for the full moon. The full moon, you don't have to do anything because it's completely visible. Welcome back to class. We hope your students enjoyed the worksheet exercise where they had to design their phases of the moon just like they've learned with the flashcards activities, starting with the new moon, which is almost completely dark, through to the full moon, which is completely light, and all of the different phases in between. My students here all did a brilliant job, so very well done, guys. And that's all we've got time for today, so we hope you've enjoyed the lesson and now understand about the different phases of the moon. So tonight, when you go home, look into the sky, and then you'll be able to tell which of the different phases of the moon we have in the sky. And we'll see you again soon for the next lesson. So can we turn to wave and say goodbye, guys? Bye-bye. See you again soon.